What's going on, guys? How you doing? This is the Rush Snakes and Arrows overview. And what do I have to say about Snakes and Arrows? I think it's a good album. I would say that it definitely helped listening to it, like any Rush album. It helped listening to it multiple times. I just listened to it a lot just while I was driving. It's always a good place for me to listen to an album, especially after just listening to it in headphones, because it's a different space. Listening to it in the car, it kind of like is all around you. So that was cool. And I would say the song that definitely grew on me, and the song that frankly didn't really get out of my head, even though at the beginning I thought it was fine. Like on first listen I thought it was fine, but I had some critiques on it. That song that I'm like, yeah, that's a good song, is Far Cry. It is. It actually is. I remember I was saying, it's kind of wordy. It feels like it's just kind of, it's too much words. But it is really good. I get it. It's really good. And the melody is really good. That's where I can't get out of my head, right? So that one was cool. What else? Armor and Sword. I really like the washy section. The washy section is really cool. I think the bridge kind of sucks, like it's weak. I'm not into it, but that wash section is really just where it's worth it for me. That's cool. The larger bowl, I'm not into. Somebody, I want to say it was Debbie. I may be wrong. I think it's Debbie, was saying hippie, and I'm like, oh yeah, total. When I re-listened to it, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, this is total 60s hippie vibe. The tambourine gives it away. Right? Total 60s vibe. I'm just thinking of like such a lot of pain in the world, all that crap. I'm just like, oh God, freaking cry me a river, guys. Like that's how I get with that kind of stuff. I'm just like, oh God, these grown men are just weeping. Okay, oh God, I can't. It's too much for me. You're just like, dude, okay, like maybe, Jesus. Anyways, and the woes, I immediately, the second the woes came in, I'm like, no, that's a no. That's totally a no. I really like Spindrift. It's dark. It's almost like an extension of Counterparts, right? That like newer Rush, dark. I like it. Kind of 90s, grungy. I really like that one. The Main Monkey Business. Okay, so I should really have this up. Hang on a second. I skipped Working Them Angels. Sorry, I didn't have them all written down over here. I just wrote down specific notes that I wanted to hit. Working Them Angels, I really like. I like that song. I don't know, it just works for me. I like it. Really like that song. That's definitely right off the bat, Far Cry, Working Them Angels, Spindrift, totally into it. Armor and Sword is okay. I like the wash section. That's about it. The larger bowl, I can just drop. I can drop that song. Okay, and then we have 3 instrumentals on this album. The first one being Main Monkey Business. And all of the instrumentals are fine. They're fine. I understand why Rush does instrumentals and why they almost kind of have to. I mentioned this in the R30 video. I don't think it's going to be out yet, actually. I think this is going to come out before it. The R30 2112. I mentioned it. I think that's the video that I mentioned, and where like I get why, because of like 2112 and Hemispheres and their early stuff, it's like, yeah, you guys kind of like, it makes sense that you guys do instrumentals. It makes sense that you do instrumentals, but I'm not crazy. I'm not like a Rush instrumentals person. I know that there are people that are crazy about La Villa and crazy about YYZ and all that, all of it. Where's my thing? There's ones of those that I like more than others, but I'm not like, if I want to put on Rush, I'm not thinking of putting on their instrumentals. That's not what I'm gonna go for. It's just not. So that being said, it is cool. The Main Monkey Business is kind of like Xanadu. After listening to it a bunch of times, I'm like, this is like Xanadu. Xanadu has cool parts. this is a cool part, 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 and they just kind of like piece them together and like change them around and all that. And in that way, it's like Xanadu, because it's kind of like that. It has cool parts that just kind of gets put together and moved around, but all the parts are cool. So I like it. And the fact that, okay, I just saw the documentary and they did it live for the most part and overdubs over that makes me appreciate it more. But overall, that's how I feel about their instrumentals. I'm like, yeah, this is nice, this is fine. I'd rather listen to a song. You know, I'd rather listen to like a vocal song with a vocal melody. I'm not getting enough of an instrumental melody. There's no individual instrumental melody. It's not like this is like a jazz tune or something like that where there's like a saxophone playing a specific melody over top of this part that they have, right? I mean, yeah, that's a melody, that's melodic or whatever, but you could just as easily write an actual lead on top of that and have it be that type of song. That's kind of what I mean about their instrumentals. It's kind of like that. Like, where's the melody? Like, I get that what you're doing is melodic and has melody in itself. Drums have melody, right? If you think about it and how it's being constructed or whatever, but in hooks. But I think you get what I'm saying. So that's the main Monkey Business. The Way the Wind Blows is another one of the songs that I really like. It's another one where it's different. This is like a different kind of Rush song that's not like other tunes that are in their discography. Kind of like, this is a bad example, but it's accurate. I mean, so maybe that in that way, it's a good example. A good example of that would be Tai Shan, but that's a bad song. But that's a type of song that is just not in their discography anywhere else. So it's like, it's different for them. Spindrift sounds like a Rush tune, like a Counterparts era Rush song, right? The Way the Wind Blows is kind of like, okay, where is this coming? You know, it's like new and different for them. And in that kind of way, and they have done that in the past, and in that kind of way, it is cool. Rush is cool, right? In that kind of way. They are experimenting, they're trying new things, they're not just running the same stuff, right? So I do appreciate that. I think it's cool, and sometimes they nail it, right? I like The Way the Wind Blows. I like the blues intro. I think it's got a really nice chorus. Cool. Down with it. Okay, Hope, this folksy, they had a bit of it in the documentary where he's just like kind of improvising on the different ideas, right? It's just kind of like this 12-string folksy kind of vibe. I like the sound. It's cool. It's fine. I think I mentioned in the Malignant Narcissism video that, they're kind of like interludes. They're just like little short, and especially they're like 2 minutes long. They're just like these short little instrumental interludes. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's cool. It's not something that you specifically go to like put on. It's something that's there on the album when you're listening to the album. Okay, Faithless I really like. Faithless is another one of the songs that I'm like, this is like, as a song, this is a great song. I really like the melody. I like the chorus. I like the strings, the mellotron, just really, really nice. Like, great vibe. Love it. The Bravest Face is the one with the blues guitar solo. There was a video where I was talking about the blues thing, and I said The Way the Wind Blows is because The Way the Wind Blows has the, I was remembering it wrong. The Way the Wind Blows has the bluesy kind of intro, but The Bravest Face has like the blues solo, right? The bluesy kind of solo, and then it continues on with the vocals, and he's kind of like ad-libbing, kind of like a blues player, right? Like a blues guitar player. I like all that stuff. Bravest Face was cool. It's not the best song on the record, but I like it. The Good News First is a hard no for me. That's and it's hilarious to me that in the documentary Alex knew it. And then he's like trying to say, maybe not, he's not trying to save it, but it's clear that he was like, this is not. And then they were just like polishing a turd, basically. Pretty much. That's how I feel about it. I know that there's people that like this song, and yeah, just keep on listening to it. You get used to the shit. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I did listen to it a whole bunch of times. As much as I listened to the rest of the record, I listened to it. I listened to the whole thing several times. No. Malignant Narcissism is fine. It's cool. I didn't realize that it was on a fretless bass. I think because of how Geddy plays it. I said this in the documentary, so I won't say it. I won't go over it again. Again, it's kind of like an interlude. It's a little bit just like an interlude. It's fine. It's not something that I'm specifically going for. Like even live when they did it, because I did a live version of them doing it where they do it and then they just roll into a drum solo. Because it's like, and the main part is the drum solo. Because this is just a little 2-minute, okay, this is a cool riff. This is a cool thing. It's just an interlude to me. There's nothing wrong with that. But, it's not a song. It's just a riff, a thing. It's cool. It's fine. It's totally fine. Oh, and in the other thing, because Julie brought up Jocko and the fretless, I talked on the fretless, but the Jocko part, because it's on a Jocko bass. It's not, I think it's because of how he's playing it. It doesn't have that moi sound, that like warm, it's because he's not sustaining any notes. He's just like how he's playing it. He's not playing like Jocko. So it's not going to have that sound. It doesn't sound like Jocko at all. If you told me this was a Jocko bass, I'd be like, that's interesting. It doesn't sound like anything like Jocko. It doesn't sound like, as opposed to if you listen to, say, Marcus Miller play a fretless bass, that's like a whole other story. You're going to get that moi. You're going to get that sound. Or Pino Palladino when he was doing fretless bass in the 80s on those 80s. Don Henley, I'm not playing any of that crap here. Right? I'm not playing any of that. Not that it's crap, but all of the business going on about the Eagles and people getting copyright strikes on YouTube from Eagles stuff. So I'm not playing, because of Don Henley, I'm not playing any of it. It's really great stuff. You can go and listen to it and listen to Pino Palladino's great fretless bass playing. Pino Palladino, that's an incredible bass player who's had such an incredible career, where it's like multiple careers. Like some people just like die just to have his fretless career, and some people would be like, oh man, you're like R&B, you're like D'Angelo career, like that whole thing. And then like John, like he's just had just one of the incredible bass players. Anyways, so I don't get Jocko out of it. Okay, he played a Jocko bass, that's nice. He played a Fender jazz bass. There's a zillion people that play Fender jazz bass, and they don't all sound the same. So, yeah, it's fine. We Hold On, that's another one that I don't like it. I think probably, I don't know which song I like worse, the Larger Bowl or Good News First. Probably Good News First, but We Hold On is in there also. It just does nothing for me. I'm not into it. Overall, it's a pretty good album. It came out in 2007, right? Yeah, 2007. So like 13 tracks. That's pretty normal. They could have easily cut that down. It would have been a way stronger record. No different than I said this about, was it Counterparts? I said this about one of their more recent records also. If they just would have cut 3, maybe even 4 songs, this would be a way stronger record. If they took out the Larger Bowl, Good News First, and We Hold On. And you got 10 tracks, 3 of them are instrumentals. That's a little bit weird, but whatever. They're interludes. And maybe you close with Malignant Narcissism. That's fine. Yeah, it's just then becomes a way stronger record, in my opinion. So, amazing. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's a good record. Do I like it more than Vapor Trails? Let me go to Vapor Trails. It's been a minute since I've listened to Vapor Trails. Do I like it more than Vapor Trails? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think maybe I do. Yeah, maybe I do. There's good stuff on Vapor Trails also, but there might be better stuff on this one. And this one certainly sounds better. Certainly sounds better. Easily sounds better. I mean, I guess in that kind of way, that makes it, I mean, just the fact that it's easier to listen to makes it better just right off the bat. It just kind of does, it makes it better just right off the bat. So, yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you everybody for watching, listening, talking, commenting, donating, everything, everything, subscribing, all of it. Really amazing. What do we have next? What are we doing next? Because we're really coming down to it. Okay, so I'm doing the tech documentary. That's next. Tech documentary is next. That's basically where we're at. Tech documentary is next. And then Beyond the Lighted Stage. I know I have a bunch of like live things to do that I'll do that I'm going to try and just throw in where I can. We'll see. But we're really getting down to it. We're really, I mean, we have one more album to do. And then Envy of None. And a whole lot of like live stuff. I don't, I'll say it again, but I'm telling you, I don't think I'm going to do R40. I don't know. I just don't know. I'll feel it out when I get to it, but nobody, I promise you, nobody wants to hear me go on about Geddy's voice. Like, I maybe there'll be things that I want to pick out, but I'll have to figure it out when I get there. Because, yeah, I just don't want that to be the last thing I'm hearing. It's bad enough you guys had to deal with that, living through all of it and going to the tour and all of it, like it's bad enough, right? So I don't need that. I don't need that. He still sounds vocally, still sounds really good here, right? He still sounded really good on R30. So but even towards the end, you can hear how on the older material, he's like, he has to sing it differently. It's starting, it's happening, right? It's kind of like more smoothed over. It's not, he's not enunciating as well. It's just not, it's getting a little bit like, like he's like on the edge, right? All the current stuff, he sounds great. He sounds fine. It's there. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. That shit was really high. That shit was really high. So anyways, okay. Tech documentary coming up. Thank you guys very much. Snakes and Arrows, a great album. It is. It's a great album. Very cool. Current, newer Rush. Very cool. Awesome. I'll catch you guys in the next video.